Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are having a great Monday. So we're back in the swing of things, and we got quite a few, well, actually really two updates happening today. We got Bitdeer reporting on their July production update. There's some confusion in there. I'm going to talk over it. And there's also Core Scientific. They provided their July production update as well, and they also provided their Q2 results last Friday, I believe it was. So I pulled in all the data. We'll take a look at it. It's actually pretty good. It's getting a little bit better for them. But we'll take a look at it all. But as always, you guys know the drill here. Not financial advice for entertainment only. Please do your own research and invest in following coins and companies for full disclosure. And I did buy today. I bought another 100 shares of CleanSpark because on the dip. So it seemed like the right thing to do. Also, if we look at what else, we'll take a look at what's happening with the miners today as well. But that's going to be towards the end of the video as always. Okay. All right. So here we go. So here's Bitdeer announces July 2023 production updates. And here's what we got from them. Here's a statement from them. Importantly, we mined 220 Bitcoins through our self-mining business in July, a 41% year-over-year increase. At the same time, we continued to curtail the power usage at our mining data centers in Texas to help stabilize Texas' electrical power grid in response to the state's extreme heat this summer, through which we continue to generate power credits. So that's good there. That's kind of normal. They are down in production here, but here's where it kind of gets a little tricky here. So down here, they reported self-mining for the month of July at 3.8. In June, they actually reported 4.6. And here's their June announcement over here. So June 2023, 4.6. Now, that's kind of what the numbers I had for June, and for May, I had like 4 something for them, based on the numbers that they provided to us. In May, they provided they were at 4 exahash allocated to the company's self-mining business and 1.4 to its cloud hash rate business. Okay, so there's some numbers that were off on that. And I was looking over the numbers that I had for them, and it's like, it didn't make sense. So I started doing a little digging into it, and it looks like what they provided today is a slight clarification in things. So in June, they had 3.8 exahash. They had 0.8 exahash delivered but not yet energized. So that's how I got them to 4.6, and it's also what they reported. So the reporting was inaccurate as far as what they had installed and running. They reported basically those that were delivered but not yet energized as being basically self-mining operational based on the numbers that they provided here. Same thing for July. July is only 3.8. They have 2.5 delivered but not yet energized. So that's a big difference there. So that also lowers their hash rate capacity that they were at. Also kind of helped improve actually their efficiency based on that they had lower hash rate. That means that they were running for more days during the month than prior months. But let's take a look at the data we do have. There's not much else going on here. You guys can take a look at this here. They go about explaining what their different business segments are. Infrastructure update, they have 23,000 newly purchased miners being delivered to the company's Gadu data center. And then other things in here so that you guys can take a look at that. But let's take a look at the numbers that I do have for them. So Bitdeer right now has 111 million, I can't speak. 111 million shares outstanding. Stock price is $9.16. And this was from Friday numbers. I haven't updated the numbers yet for today. Market cap was at 1 billion at that time. Their performance here has been, well, really, really mixed here. So 12 weeks ago, had you bought back then, you'd be up 90%. If you bought 8 weeks ago, you'd be down 19%. And if you bought 4 weeks ago, you'd be down 34%. And if you bought a week ago, you'd be down 10.2%. Okay, so depending on when you bought it, you might be in the positive or in the negative side of things. Okay, current hash rate, I'm at 3.8 is what basically they reported. Future hash rate, I'm guessing it's gonna be 7 something for them. I gotta figure out the numbers now exactly as far as what they're actually gonna have for the self-mining. That's kind of what I'm guessing, somewhere around between 7 and 7.6, I'm guessing. BTC hodl, they don't hodl anything. They're at least not reporting it. BTC production here, you can see that they peaked in May with 283. May was a odd month because we had the transaction fees for the Bitcoin network being so high that kind of increased everybody's production in May. But if you look at from April to June, you could see a little bit of an increase, but now we're seeing a little bit of a decrease. Now, obviously, they have 2.5 exahash that has to get energized. When that does get energized, that should help them run back up in production. But right now, it's going down. Month-over-month difference, BTC mine, you can take a look at that one over here. Then BTC per exahash efficiency is pretty low at 57.9. They did curtail for quite a few days there in July. We'll take a look at it here down below. BTC sold, they sell everything that they mine. That's kind of what I'm guessing based on them not providing that they have a hodl. Okay, hash rate, like I said, I had to lower the hash rate for May down to 3.8 because I just don't know what actually they had on May, right? They reported that they had 4 exahash in June. when in reality they only had 3.8 because, or they reported 4.6, but they had 3.8. And in May they reported they had 4, which that's not the case because, well, we know what happened in June. Okay, so they've been stuck at 3.8 exahash here for the last 3 months. Their revenue here has gone up in May, which was their best month for self-mining, was 7.782% or 7.782 million, sorry. And then it has been coming down here in July. Now, once they get the miners energized, the 2.5 exahash, that should send them back up in the upwards direction here. Hash rate difference, you can see that I'm guessing, this is just an estimate, I don't know exact numbers here, that they basically installed possibly 200 petahash in May due to the 3.8, which I'm guessing, I don't know if that was 3.8, it could have been 3.6. We just don't know. There's not a lot of clear data for them right now. BTC sold value, this is what they were selling. These are the numbers that we do have for them right now on last 4 quarters revenue, last 4 quarters operating costs. And I have to do this. I forgot to do this today. Today's the 7th, I believe. Yep. I have to go and check it to see if there's any institutions on them. And actually, why don't we do that right now? So let me see here. I don't know if I even have it in here. Let me see. Digital Bit Farms. We don't seem to have them in here. So why don't we take a look at them here? BTDR, Bitdeer. Okay, so we have 1 buy rating on them at $10.80 is the analyst rating. Okay, so we got 1 buy rating. So we got 0, 1, 0, 0, 0. And then what was that? That was $10.80, $10.80, and $10.80. Okay, so we got that. Institutions, let's see how many institutions actually own the stock here. If you look at institutions, 14 institutions, 1.39 million shares. Okay, 14 institutions, 1,390,000. Right, yep. And percentage owned is right now 2.21% as being reported. Okay, so that's where the numbers stack up there. Excuse me. Now, when we look at the data here for, like I said, for June, so these have been updated to 3.8. They were at 4. It had been 4.6 in June. So these are the new numbers for those guys. Revenue still came out to be the same, but the only thing is that the days that they were mining did increase because of the lower hash rate. Okay, so for both months, those have increased a little bit here. And in July, they were operating for about 24, roughly, I'm guessing, 24 days out of the month to get us to the 6.635 million, which was in, let me see, July should have been 6.618. Okay, we're pretty close here. Why is June 6.635? Okay, so that one's way off. So I got to update that one. So that one should have been up higher. So I'll get these updated here, but let's see if we can get it close to a ballpark here. 24, 6.2. They were at 6.6. Let's see here. 25 days, 6.4, 26, 6.6. Okay, we're pretty close. So let's go 25.5. Oh, 25.8. 6.645. Okay, that's pretty close to that number that they were at, 6.635. We're off by a little bit. I'll get this fixed later on, but at least it gives us the close enough ballpark numbers to take a look at what they should be valued at. And then in July, they had 6.618, and I had 6.635. So I had those in June. August, I had, okay, so that's where I got mixed up. 618, so we might have to take this one down to 24. 6.618, 23. There we go, 6.618. So that one's actually pretty good there. Okay, now that we get the numbers all kind of fixed up here a little bit, if we look at their current quarter, which is going to be about, this is the Q3 numbers for them. So the current quarter that we're in is Q3. Last 3 quarters includes Q2, Q1, and Q4 of 2022. That's 55.9 million combined total, 73 million, 50% net income with a P of 15 there, $4.86 based on my calculations. And at 75% net income, they would be at $7.44. They're at $9.16. Now, they do have other segments of business that are possibly profitable, which it's hard to tell. And that's based on down here. I just can't figure out what the costs are for the different segments that they have here. Let me see if we go down here, revenue. Okay, so they got their self-mining, which is what we're kind of tracking right now. Cloud hash rate, or cloud hash rate. That's 18 million in Q1 numbers. So that's definitely higher than their self-mining was. General hosting was also higher, 22 million. And then membership hosting was at 16.5 million. So those all three were higher. but just trying to figure out what their actual costs were on these per segment is next to impossible. So we don't know which segment is profitable, which one is not. I'm guessing soft mining probably would be the one that's profitable, but we've seen with other customers, other miners like Core Scientific, Riot, where they have been not profitable in hosting, general hosting. But as you can see here, the expenses, all we have is just energy and infrastructure, and that's based on a total number there that's not subdivided into actual different segments of the business. And then we have selling expenses, research, general administrative, other expenses as well. So it's hard to figure out where they are profitable or not. I did calculate the possible cost of energy for self-mining. And the way I did that was I took basically what the revenue was divided by the total revenue to get a percentage, and then I just multiplied that percentage by the energy and infrastructure costs. So it came out to be about 10.7 thousand per BTC mined. That's best guess estimate on that one. The numbers, like I said, are clear as mud for them when it comes to the different segments and what they're actually generating on each one. So it's hard to tell which one is profitable, which one is not profitable. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to tell you guys there. Let's take a look at it here. I think that's it. Okay, so based on that, I think they're way overvalued, depending on where the other segments are. If the other segments are pretty profitable, or at least break even, okay, then maybe, but add the other segments into it. Okay, they're at 916. Maybe they're being valued that. But from what I've seen with other miners, like I said, Riot and Core Scientific, having a large number of hosting customers as well, they weren't profitable in the last couple of quarters as well, or either. So I'm guessing here that Bitdeer wasn't profitable either. But we'll find out maybe when they report Q2 numbers. Maybe we'll get some better numbers. So that's something with a caveat. Now, if we take the current quarter or the current month that we just finished in July, what their revenue was, multiply it times the 8 months left before the halving event, and then the other 4 months times the 50% of that, we're looking at about 66 million in revenue for that. That's if Bitcoin stays the same, hash rate stays the same for them, everything stays the same, obviously. That would be then priced at about $4.46 to $6.69, where I kind of would see them to be priced fairly. Okay, so that's the numbers there. Let me know what you guys think of them. I mean, it's tough with them to figure out actually what's going on with the different business segments for them. Having more clarity with them, I could be a little bit more positive on them, but right now it's just, like I said, the data is clear as mud, so it's kind of hard to tell. Let me know what you guys think of them. If you're invested in them, if you're not invested in them, let me know down in the comments down below. Okay, but I just wanted to point out all the different discrepancies that we've been seeing, and that's the thing that I don't like seeing, is I don't like seeing numbers being changed or things being added to provide clarification. It should have been provided right at the beginning. This is what we're currently energized, where we're supposed to be at. We have this much being brought in or getting ready to energize, but with them providing the higher hash rate, that's, I don't like that too much. Okay, that's it. Let's go into the next one here, Core Scientific. So Core Scientific also provided their numbers here. There it is. So this is for the July production update, and then we'll also take a look at their financing for Q2 as well. So self-mining, Core Scientific self-mining operations produced 1,022 Bitcoin in July, including 22.9 Bitcoin in transaction fees. As of month end, the company operated approximately 145,000 of its own Bitcoin miners, accounting for approximately 69% of its total number of miners and representing a total potential self-mining hash rate of 15.2 exahash. So that's kind of what we're going by here with Core Scientific. Okay. So we go back here. Core Scientific is right over here. So here's what we got. Shares outstanding right now. Oh, I haven't updated this. I need to update this. So this reminds me I have to take a look at the numbers here for shares outstanding currently, if they diluted at all. But we'll take a look at it here. Shares outstanding was 376 million. The last time I looked at it. While I'm thinking about it, why don't we just take a look at it? So we're dealing with the most recent data here. And there's just a lot of data that I track, and sometimes I forget something or I miss something. So let's take a look at it here. Shares outstanding. Weight average. So all we have is the weight average. Weighted average. So 3 months into June, that's the average there. Let me see, do we have a calculation for the actual shares? Does not look like it. Let me see your shares. See, this is kind of stuff that I have to go through to figure out what's going on with all of these miners, trying to search for things to see if we can come up with a number of shares. Common stock balance at June 30th, 2022 was 353,481,000, it looks like. Common stock, Let me see your balance. Balance at June 30th, 2022. Well, that's a year old. Why are we seeing that on 2022 when we're in 2023? So that doesn't help us really. 2022, need to see the 2023 numbers. 2022, let's see it. Okay, looks like we may only have the shares outstanding basic weighted average number of those. 375. Yep, that's basically all I'm getting. Okay, so we'll go with the numbers that I do have for them, unfortunately, which is 376 million right now. And stock price on Friday was 91 cents. I can't remember if it went up or down today. We'll take a look at it here in a minute. Market cap was 342 million. They have done really well here in the last basically 12 weeks, 8 weeks, and not so much in the 4 weeks and the 1 week. So they're up 155% from 12 weeks ago, up 138 from 8 weeks ago. From 4 weeks ago, they're only up 0.8%. And then from last week, they were actually down 8.38% on the week. And then you can see their current hash rate is at 15.2. Their future hash rate should be 15.2 as well. That's what they should be at. So I need to update that as well. And let me see here. BTC HODL, they don't HODL anything. They sell everything they mine. Their production peaked in January of this year with 1,527 Bitcoin. It's definitely become a big drop here. They've basically dropped 33% in their production in just over basically 6-7 months. That's quite a bit. But we've seen the network hash rate also increase tremendously. So that's a contributing factor to that as well. Month over month difference as far as how much they mine, you can see here. BTC HODL, they did HODL quite a bit last year, and then they started selling quite a bit also, and they're down to 0 now. BTC per exahash efficiency, 67.2 isn't too bad. It's kind of in the average mark. BTC sold, how much they sold each month, you can see that. Hash rate. Hash rate has also been kind of questionable here with them a little bit. They peaked in January with 17 exahash. They came down, reported being less at 16.7 in February, down to 16.1 in March. Then they were down in April 14.8, which I think they were selling some miners at that time to help pay off some of the debt that they had. And they seem like they're possibly getting miners back in a little bit. So maybe buying some of those back. Don't know exactly what's going on here, but they're increasing their hash rate nonetheless. Revenue, as you can see here, has been kind of all over the place. Their best month, it looks like, was back in May of 36,134,000. They went down in June, back up a little bit here to 30 million. So it's been up and down all over the place for them. Hash rate difference, you can see how the hash rate, how after January it fell quite a bit. And then they've been slowly adding additional 100 petahash or so per month. BTC sold value, how much they sold roughly based on the Bitcoin average price for that period. Okay, and then here's the current quarter that they reported for, so Q2 numbers. So it looks like Q3 wasn't too bad. Q4 went down to 74 million. Q1 was 98 million. Q2 went down to 97 million roughly based on the numbers that they provided here. And then the current quarter, I'm estimating around 87 million. That could change depending where Bitcoin price goes, also where the network hash rate goes. Okay, so that might change for them. And if they install any more miners. So that's just an estimate right now. Last 4 quarter operating costs has been coming down, which is good to see. This is the best part that I see of this is the operating costs have been coming down quite nicely here. They're down almost 50% from where they were in Q3 of last year. They had 116 million in operating costs in Q3. They're down to 66.846 million in Q2. So that's good there. Other metrics, cost to mine Bitcoin has come up here a little bit in Q2 to 19.2, but that's including possibly electricity and also operations, things like that. It's not just electricity because they don't break those things out. Bitcoin mined quarterly, they peaked in Q1 with 4,000, almost 4,300. Now they're down to 3,470 in Q2. So that's also kind of concerning a little bit, but it's happening to everybody unless they're really growing. So we're seeing that kind of across the board. Debt to equity, still negative here on that one. Current ratio has improved to 0.59. That is an improvement, so that's good to see there as well. Total current assets has been increasing here since Q4. So 85 million in Q4, 100 million in Q1. They're up to 111 million in Q2. So that's good there. Total current liabilities, well, they got shuffled around. So the restructured part of the bankruptcy for Chapter 11, they have that under a different line item now. So you can see obviously that has come down, but nonetheless, their overall debt, current liabilities, is still high compared to what they have current assets for. So It's going to be a challenge for them to get out of this bankruptcy. Okay, now let's take a look at it. Miners, as far as what they installed in July, we installed only about 200 petahash of miners. I'm guessing 100 terahash miners. I don't know exactly what they installed because they're not providing it. So I'm guessing here. On that one, they got us to the 15.2 exahash that they reported, and those were operating for about 28.372 days roughly to get to the 30,746,000, which is also over here, which is based on the Bitcoin average price for the month of July. Okay, so that's the numbers there. Based on those numbers, we can see here that also institutions did decrease a little bit here to 29. Shares went down to 18.7 million, and then percentage went down to 4.97. Now we have 3 hold ratings on them. Price target is still $1. Average is 75 cents, and low is 50 from the analyst. Okay, I have them at right now. If they get a bankruptcy, depending on how much they dilute shareholders in the process. Right now, with the number of shares that we do have outstanding, I have them at $4.74 to $7.11 based on the last 4 quarters of performance. Given that they are not growing as much and network hash rate is increasing, their Bitcoin that they generate each month is decreasing. We're seeing that if we look forward to 12 months, they're going to be possibly, if we look 12 months out, so 8 months with Bitcoin at the current rate that it's being provided, and then after having it at 50% revenue, I'm at $4.08 to $6.12, 391 cents. I still think that they are way undervalued. Okay, let me know what you guys think, and then let's take a look at some of the numbers that we have here for their financial results. There's some interesting things here. Okay, let's take a look at it here. Revenue. One good thing that I'm seeing is, okay, so revenue total was 126 million. General administrative was 24 million. So that is only 19% of their total expenses. It has definitely come down from the 33% that we had here for the full year, or in Q4. It was a little bit lower in Q1. Obviously, they generated a little bit more revenue, but still would like to see that come down even more, especially since they're trying to restructure and reorg and all that stuff. They really need to have that come down, I think, to be more efficient. Cut the fat. You got to cut the fat as much as you can. Other things that I've noticed: cash and cash equivalents increased by about 10 million, so that's good there. Restricted cash went down a couple million. That's not too bad. Prepaid expenses increased. Total current assets, like I said, went up to 111 million, so that's good there. Total assets also actually came down a little bit here to 750 million from 760, but that's mostly property and plant and equipment. Value on those get changed all the time. On those, that's okay. Accounts payable did increase a little bit here to 53 from 50 million. But still not too bad. Accrued expense actually went down to 41 million from 58, so that's good there. Deferred revenue actually went down to 62 from 68, so that's good there as well. And notes payable current portion went down to 27 from 35, so that's good there. So their total current liabilities actually went down by about, what's that going to be? That's going to be roughly close to $30 million or change. So that's actually good to see there. Okay. Going down here, as far as revenues are concerned, let's see here. Hosting revenue from customers, that actually increased to 26 million, so that's good. That definitely will help out. Hosting revenue from related parties was 3.5, so almost flat on that one. And then their digital asset mining revenue was 97 million compared to 98, so pretty close to where they were. Not too bad there. But here's a good thing: the profit margins. Profit margin on mining was 31%. Profit margin on hosting was actually 22%, if my calculations are right. And overall profit margin was 29% compared to where they were negative in Q4 and Q3 of last year. And they were slightly positive here for the year they were slightly positive, but overall they have been improving on those numbers. If you look at profit margins for mining, let me see here. They were actually, I think that should be probably 74 current digital asset mining. Yeah, those were numbers. Yeah, so they were definitely paying a lot for, I'm guessing, employees and things like that. They were negative. So that's actually a good sign there that those have been increasing each month. Total cost of revenue also coming down has been really good to see. They were in Q4 168 million. Now they're down to 89. That's really good. What else do we have here? Gross profit 36.9 million. So that's been coming up as well instead of being negative. They're up on this one, so that's good. And let's see what else do we have here. Operating expenses, research and development, still a little high there. Sales and marketing, I don't know if they should have. I know they're trying to run a business, but for 3 months, $1 million. So I mean, you're spending what, about 300,000 on your sales and marketing department. That seems a bit high. General administrative, that's still really high to me. 24 million for 3 months. So you're basically spending 8 million a month in salaries on people. That's just crazy to me. You got to trim the fat on there. Get that down to below 20 million. Get that down to as close as you can to probably 15 or 10 million would be even better. Right now, I know they're trying to survive and everything else, so they want to keep the people that they do have on board, but you got to get rid of some maybe redundancy. Some people are not going to be growing as much as you have been in the past. Right now is just trying to restructure, get costs under control. That's got to get under control. It's still not as bad as it was back here for whatever reason they had in Q2, which I think probably were, share-based compensation was added in there for like 90 million. But still, they were at 43 million in Q3, 38 in Q4. So they are going in the right direction, but still a little high to me. Seems like they need to get that under control a little bit better. Okay. Other than that, let me see here. 2-cent loss per share, which was good instead of the $2, $1 here. So that's definitely an improvement there. Like to see that become profitable in the next maybe quarter or two, depending where Bitcoin price goes. Bitcoin price goes down, it doesn't really matter because they're not going to make money on it. But if Bitcoin price does go up, they should start to report a positive EPS, earnings per share. Okay, so that's it. Let me know what you guys think about cores. I think they are doing the right things. I think they could be doing a little bit more, but that's just me. If a company's in trouble, you got to cut as much of the fat as you can, and without hurting the restructuring and everything else. Okay, I know it's not easy, it's tough, but that's kind of what I'd be looking for. All right, so that's it. Like I said, I still think cores are undervalued where they are right now. Given that they get out of Chapter 11 bankruptcy, they restructure properly, and depending on how much they dilute shareholders in the process, right? If they dilute shareholders by 50%, well, then my numbers are going to be cutting 50% on that as well. So then we're looking at somewhere between $2 and $2.35 and $3, somewhere around there for them, but still undervalued from where they should be. All right, so that's it for that one. Let's take a look at what's happening with the miners today. It was a pretty bad day, and it's been a pretty rough start to August for the miners in general. I don't know what's going to happen there going forward, but let's take a look at it. Let me see here. Where are we? I want to be over here. There we go. Okay. So Bitcoin was actually up today, surprisingly. It did come down to our support line here at 28,600, pretty close to it. So we're still bouncing off the support here. The more times that we touch this line or get close to this line, the more likely we are going to be to fall below it. So we bounced off of it today. So we were up actually 0.48%. The miners were down quite a bit more, almost double from where they were in the morning. People were kind of panicking a little bit out there, and then things kind of recovered a little bit as the day went on. So Bitcoin was up today. It's down right now a little bit here. We are still getting close to that point where the 20-day and the 50-day averages cross on the chart here, and I think that's maybe when we might see that drop happen. It hasn't happened yet, but we're getting close to it, so I think that's maybe when it's going to happen. Other things to note here, the RSI on the daily, looking at where the price is right now and where it was in the past, we were back here at the same level. We can see that the RSI was at that point a little bit lower. RSI is a little bit higher on the daily, and we're seeing that same thing here on the 4-hour chart, which again leads me to believe that we might be falling down here. If we look at the price here, last time we were back here at the same price, you can see RSI was here. RSI is right here now at the same price. We're high in the RSI, leading me to believe that we might be falling down also. So those types of things that I'm looking for to see if we're going down. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Sometimes it might take 2 to 3 weeks before we actually go down, but we do eventually go down. It's just depending on the time frame when it actually happens. So that's kind of what I'm looking for here. Our support, I'm hoping that our support will hold here at the 28,600. If that doesn't hold, then we're possibly going down to the 200 weekly moving average, which is at 27,300, somewhere around there. That might bounce off of there. We'll just have to wait and see what happens actually. Okay, miners now. Well, Ethereum was also, let me see, Ethereum was down today. It was down 0.03%. It closed at 1,826, and it's doing the same thing that pretty much Bitcoin is doing right now. So we'll see how that one's going to play out. Now, miners, as we can see here, let me see here. Let me take a look at the weekly line. Okay, so we can see that the miners did come down today for the majority of them, and then finally bounced up towards the end of the day when Bitcoin price started to rebound a little bit here. So we got Annie was up 2.64%. Argo was down 4.51% on the day. Was down even more than that. Digital was down 2.93%. You can see they were down quite a bit also. They were down to a low of, what are they, $3.38. So definitely a little bounce there today in the afternoons. Bitdeer was actually started kind of lower on the day from last week, and then it actually got up a little bit here. So it was up 3.71%. Bitforms was down 1.92%. It also went down to a low of today, for it was $1.45. Cypher was down 3.75%. It went down more than bounced. CleanSpark was down also more. It's down 3.77%. I did buy that one. I told you guys in the beginning of the video, I did buy another 100 shares of that one at, I think it was $4.98 on it. So I got in towards the bottom of it a little bit. Core Scientific was up today 0.54%. DigiHost was down 6.76%. DMG was down 1.74%. Greenwich was down 6.52%. Hive was down 2.56%. Hut down 2.57%. Iris Energy was down 3.24%. Marathon was down 4.8%. Mawson was down 9.03%. Riot 4.62% down. Soluna was down 5.48%. Stronghold was down 4.23%. And TeraWolf was down 8.37% on the day. So you can see here that they bounced off the 200 daily moving average, TeraWolf did. So we're seeing a lot of those spots where the miners will actually bounce off those daily moving lines or weekly moving lines, depending where they stack up on the charts. And if we look at the monthly here, we can see that a lot of the miners are in the red for the month here. We'll just go back up on it. Let's see here. Leave it there. So we can see that Wolf is down 17% right now on the month. We got, kind of hard to see this one. This one is down 23%. So Aztec is down 23% on the month. So Luna is actually down for the month. What is that? Down 3.56%. Riot is down 11% on the month. Mawson is down almost 23%. Marathon is down 2.3% on the month. Iris Energy is down 19.2%. Hut 8 is, let's see here, get that over here, is down 14.89%. Hive is down at 15.87%. Greenwich is kind of hard to tell, is actually up this month, 0.17%. DMG is down 8.3%. DigiHost is down 17.02%. Cores is down 4%. CleanSpark is down 15.14%. Cypher is down 12.1%. Bitfarms is down 18%. Bitdeer is down 8%. Digital is down 17.61%. Argo is down 13%. And Annie is down 12.65%. So for the most part, we've started a pretty rough month of August for the miners. Okay, we'll see how it's going to go forward. Maybe the rest of the month is going to be better than what we've seen so far. But let's take a look at the network hash rate here. We can see here that, like I said, since January, January was pretty much at the bottom of where we were of the year for network hash rate. We're at 228 roughly, pretty close to that, somewhere around there. And then we had a huge increase here in like the first 6 months of the year, where we went up 392%. So we almost went up, what is that, 33%? Yeah, 33% roughly. And then ever since then, we've been kind of going sideways here. I think a lot of the miners that are not profitable now, which might be like the 17 terahash miners, some of the other ones, 17 terahash, the S17 miners are not profitable right now. Those are coming offline as newer miners are coming online. So things are kind of evening out a little bit. I don't know exactly where the network hash is going to end up by the end of the year, but I'm guessing it's not going to be as of a abrupt rise as we've seen in the first half. I think it's going to be a little bit more modest rise throughout the rest of the year, but we'll see. So this is on the average. On the average, we are on the 7-day at 380 million terahashes right now. If we look at the daily, we can see that, you can see it here on the chart that we've kind of been going sideways as far as ever since probably when we peaked here in May and June. We got a little higher in July as well, but for the most part, we're going in the sideways direction. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys thought of all of this stuff. As always, the Patreon members will get the updated spreadsheets of all of the stuff that I've done today. And I was actually expecting Riot to provide their Q2 numbers. They didn't. I'm guessing it's going to be maybe tomorrow or on Wednesday they report those. So we're going to have a couple of miners reporting here within the next couple of days. So stay tuned for that. If you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Hope you guys have a great night.